Hi everyone. I hope I'm visible and audible. So we are just doing the final session analysis of CAT 2023. My name is Abhishek and I'm joined by Parmeshwar sir. So overall, if we look at the entire exam, verbal turned out to be on the relatively medium side as compared to the previous slots, both the VARC section and going forward, Parmeshwar sir will talk about the LRDI section and the QA section as well. So what we observed in the verbal ability and reading comprehension section is that we are expecting a good attempt of somewhere around 16 to 18. Now, I know that sounds a bit strange considering I've just said that it's relatively medium than the two slots during the day. But we are also not assuming that there'll be extremely great accuracy. So somewhere close to, let's say 16 to 18 attempts and maybe let's say 65, 70% accuracy gives you a net score of something around 24 or something like that. And that should see you through to a 90%. So if you can check the slides. So we've got a rough estimate that somewhere close to 8 net correct questions, worst case scenario of 9, will be your 90 percentile barrier for the third slot. Now, we don't want to get into normalization and things like that. So we'll just keep the discussion to a minimum. The verbal section, we'll start with the passages. Two of the passages were on the medium side. So we would say that one passage was difficult, one was easy to meet, sorry, one was medium, and two would be the easy kinds. Now, there is a bit of a catch in this that some of the passages appeared difficult. The one that I was talking about as the medium one, in fact, appeared difficult, but the questions were manageable. So, Parmeshwar sir, if you can just go to the RC slide. Yes. So there was one RC that talked about the nutmeg curves that I would classify as the easy one, which had a decent number of questions that you could solve. Same goes for the romantic aesthetics. This is the misnomer part because the content appeared that it was abstract and it might be painful, but the questions turned out to be fairly specific, detailed questions with one at max a medium question. So that takes care of your second passage. The third one was the cultural patrimony loss, which gave us about two odd questions maximum. And the fourth one was the difficult one, which is the rationality one with Steven Pinker. That I would classify as the actually tough RC with a decent time spent on those questions. So it's best to avoid some of those questions. We'll not go to the questions and all in great depth, but overall, this RC section from the overall 16 that we suggested, anywhere from let's say 10 to 11 questions with say a decent accuracy of maybe 7 also would be a great start for the RC section. Now, moving to the VA section, we did hear a report that there was something called a mandatory question in a previous slot, but that was not the case in this one. Two questions of each of the four prominent question types that have been coming across the past couple of years, which are your para completion, para summary, para numbers, and odd sentence. So decent mix of questions. From the 8 available, 5 or 6 would be what we would attempt. And say maybe 3 or 4 correctly from those 4 out of 6 should give us that number of 16 and something like that 10 next correct, which should lead you to your 90 percentile goals. Right? Anything over and above in terms of accuracy and attempts will take you further. Over to you, Parmeshwar.
Okay, fair enough. Sorry. So what I was saying was that normally if I look at DI, this year DI was very much comparable to slot number 1 of this year, and even let's say slot 3 of the last year. That is going to be very, very important. And my strategy was very clear in DI that I'm going to spend my initial 5 odd minutes and I'm going to figure out which particular set I want to start first. And my order basically was the first one was number of enrollment in the offline and the online courses. The second one which I have gone for was the 6 police station with the map, one can say routes and network. So it was a very beautiful set. And people who can relate one particular condition in a particular street, no two team can travel in the same half an hour duration. That was a very, very important and a valid point. And then people have gone for AC company, four dealers where there were window AC, split AC, and so on like this. So in my opinion, none of the four set was like you cannot solve. Obviously, one is going to take significant time to solve all the four sets in the exam condition, which I would say maybe one inhuman person can do the same, but I don't expect people are going to solve more than three sets easily in this particular DI. So in my opinion, even if you have gone for two sets, and believe me, if you have gone for two complete sets, there could be a high chance of you making some sort of mistake. So there could be a possibility of eight right or a two right. And none of you clearly know at this particular moment whether you were right in a particular set or not. Right? So do you people believe which was the most difficult one? If I can get some response on the chat. Most difficult one? So there were A, B, C, D, E, F, and the police team has to start, let's say, team has to start basically at 9 o'clock from A and has to reach the point A at 12 o'clock and so on. So DI set, as I told you, was very, very comparable to last year. If you are getting two sets completely right, believe me, you are going to go into the high 99 percentiles for sure. Maybe 99.5 percentile is what we believe. All right. So any question as such for DI people, if you have any. Please note, I can't disclose the answer at this particular moment. I'm going to go into the quant part right now. Now, moment those 80 minutes are over, and I believe that people might have seen the scariest movie. Yes or no? The quant, according to me, was one of the most difficult quant which I've seen probably in the last decade or so. It was not so straightforward. Every question you need to do some sort of number crunching. You need to write equation. You can't find, let's say, a lot of shortcuts. Yes or no, people? Yes, yes. I'm going to share about the roughly the initial estimate of the percentile and the score for DI, verbal as well as quant section. Let's talk about a bit on quant, and then we are going to discuss about what are the scores and the percentile. So I know that people are done and CAT is now over, and we are going to come up with the overall analysis at 10 o'clock. So where we are going to compare each slot, slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. Please note that grass is always greener on the other side. So everyone who will take a particular slot will believe that their slot was the toughest. So according to me, I would say slot 3 quant was the toughest. And please note that I have scored 5 times 100 percentile in quant. And when I go for the test, it is not about getting 100 percentile. It's always about getting 100% marks. So, and believe me, I have no shame in accepting the fact that I was not able to solve all 22. I was able to solve close to 20 odd questions. And even though arithmetic was on the, let's say, 8 out of 22, the arithmetic questions were not very, very straightforward. So I think people have a tendency to solve a lot of time and work. There were, I think, two questions on time and work, but one of them was slightly on the difficult side with the no exact data was given to us. Again, the one on the TSD also was not so straightforward. So in that particular case, I believe even arithmetic was slightly lengthy, except a few questions on ratio and averages. So I think people might have found averages, profit and loss, the percentage question, and the ratio wala part slightly on the easier side. So in arithmetic, I believe people can crack four questions out of eight easily. One time and work, and then I'm counting on the profit and loss, one on the percentage. And let me also ask you, how many of you have used calculator for one of the question, which was around 1 lakh or something on percentage? Yes. So should be, I think for that particular question, one should have used a calci and one ideally should have started with the lowest possible number to see whether they can cross the 1 lakh mark. So right now I can't discuss the solution, but I would say one should have used the calculator for such a question. Now, one of the key observation which I have seen across the slot 1, 2, 3 for this particular year was that the question of one particular type was clubbed together. And I hope people are going to agree with me that there were a cluster of questions which were arithmetic at one go. So maybe the first five, six of them were of algebra. Then the next seven of eight of them are going to be arithmetic, which was hardly seen in the previous year, as it used to be slightly scattered. Right. So it could be question number one, geometry, question number two, arithmetic. But right now, I think I have seen that the question of one particular type was clubbed together. Now, please note, some of you might say, sir, the question on algebra were more. It all depends on how a person is going to relate a particular topic. So some of the person might, let's say, put logarithm in terms of algebra. Some of them might put logarithm in terms of modern math because these things are taught not in the school days, but mostly in a class 11, 12. Some of them like to put log also in terms of numbers. So again, I would say these numbers are not sacrosanct. It all depends on the individual, let's say, preference where they want to see this particular question in terms of area. Please also note one thing, that there were many questions which required multiple concepts. So like the one on logarithm was also testing the concept on sort of a APGP and so on like this. So if I look at modern math, where I can say the questions on sequence and series, out of the two, I think one of them was doable, other one was slightly on the difficult side. Even the function question was not very obvious. The question on indices and surd was also given to you in the form of inequality, and it was not very obvious again. So if you look at, if I want to say what all questions should have been attempted by a good student, as I told earlier, arithmetic, you can definitely attempt 4 questions out of 8 easily. Under algebra also, I believe the questions were not so straightforward, but maybe 1 or 2 questions can be definitely attempted. Then under geometry, I believe one of the questions on polygons could definitely be attempted. If you found the other two slightly on the difficult side, one on the semicircle and one basically on the ratio of, let's something like a AC by AB or something of that kind. Within numbers also, the questions on factors and other are also were slightly on the challenging side, was not very obvious, and even the options were not given. How many of you believe that the options were also tricky because you were finding multiple cases, and in every question they were trying to ask you minimum possible sum of this and this, x into y, m into n, and so on. And that really makes things difficult. Whenever we don't have a option given, even in the presence of option, there were multiple options which could have satisfied this. Yeah. So this is what we believe. So in I was able to solve close to 20, but yes, in that 3 to 4 questions were slightly leap of faith. I was not 100% sure. And this was one of the most toughest paper of quant I have seen. I won't say DI was very tough, but DI was definitely medium level, but the quant was definitely a notch higher. Answer for the polygon question, I don't remember the answer. It was maybe 54 or so, but let me not say those answers right now. All right, so now let's look at the scores and the percentile. And this is a very initial estimate. Please note, don't take this number to heart. And these are only an indicator for you to take some aspect, okay, what is going to happen. Right now, even I don't know whether I'm going to get a 50 in quant or a 60 or a 45, whatever it might be. Once the response sheet will be out, please note, it is very, very important. Once the response sheet is out, you people should try to know your scores, because at that particular point of time, things are going to become much more clearer, and we will be in a better position to get a good estimate of the percentile. Right now, it is just a subjective matter, which we have felt that this were the easy question, which should have been done. And accordingly, we have been able to arrive at, let's say, those numbers. Okay, so for example, in quant, we are saying that a score of roughly 9 odd attempt out of 22. Again, assuming that a person is not going to make a heavy mistake. In that particular case, definitely one can get a 99 percentile. And if I compare the same data with respect to last year, it was hovering around some 36, 35 marks. So roughly 3 to 4 questions less is what I perceive people are going to attempt in this year quant and slot number 3. As far as DILR is concerned, as I told you, even if someone is going for, let's say, 2 sets, and if I say a score of 25 means roughly 9 odd right, or maybe 8 attempt 8 right, basically can again give you a very, very significantly high percentile. So these are the initial estimate which we have got for you people, and people can just look at rough numbers, and accordingly they can assume, let's say, 80% accuracy right now, 20% you might have made a mistake, and accordingly find out which ballpark number you are arriving at. And please note, it is very crucial. Once the response sheet is out, you should, again, the word is you should look at your scores. Many people say you should not look at, focus on the other test, but it will give you good insight about where you really stand. And do you have chance to, let's say, get a 𝐈𝐌𝐒 or some, let's say, good B schools. And many of the B school do end their application dates are sometime before the CAT result. So in the week or so, you can expect the response sheet to be out, and then we are going to come up. They are also going to come up with the right answers. We can challenge them. So within, let's say, 2 weeks time, you are going to know what is your raw score. Again, don't worry too much about the scaling part, whether the marks will going to go up or a down and so on. Believe in yourself. And I hope that all of you will make a good judgment about where you want to apply based on your scores of this year CAT. Okay. So with this, I want to open the forum for people to ask questions, specific question. Abhishek, you can also pitch in. So we are also going to come up with the analysis part. People, can we get some questions? Tarun, if you have attended 14 odd, expecting at least 10 to be right, definitely you can be rest assured a good percentile. You will secure a high 99 odd percentile. Yes, Ratul, we are going to collate the report of all the 3 slots, and we are going to have a discussion about people who have taken the test in slot 1, 2, 3, and they can give their own perspective. Rohan, again, 4 question. I don't think it's a bad one. It's a decent performance in quant. If you are saying all of them are right, again, you can get a good 80, 85%, 80 percentile, 85 percentile also.
So, Christy, when the response sheet is out, it shows what is the actual answer and it shows the one you have marked. So it says your answer, actual answer, something like that. So that should not be a difficulty to identify what was yours and the one given by the
Deepak, as I
attendance.
told, when I say 4 questions of algebra, some of them like to put some content like indices, surds, logarithm also in algebra. We have not kept it. And that is why that number is slightly here and there. So this year, CAT, as I told, for quant, definitely it was one of the most toughest I have seen in my entire life for the last, you can say, 15 odd years. 7 questions in DILR. Yadnesh, again, depends on how is the accuracy part. If the accuracy is high, again, you can expect a good percentile. Don't worry about the same. Ansh, again, the number seems to be good. 11 is a very good attempt in quant. Yes, Rohan, many of them are saying that questions were algebra based. Yes, please note, even the sums on arithmetic, people were trying to use algebra. So that way you can say there were good question of 10 to 12 of algebra maybe then.
So Prakriti, we can't talk about the answers right now. So we'll just wait for the response.
I don't think there was any mistake as far as any set was concerned. So if you talk
Rahul, I
about
would suggest
𝐈𝐿
let's not just worry about all of these things. Let the response sheet come out. Let us gather also some information and see what happens. Because as you know, a lot of other things also go into first call and merit call and all of those things. So don't worry about all of that. If you're taking other exams, the strategy is only right now to focus on the extra prep of the differential prep required for those exams as well. So let's just
Arun,
finish
to
this.
answer your question, maybe yes, mostly yes. Now, some of you are asking whether quant ka cutoff clear nahi hua, to will IIM give me a call? So again, note what is the cutoff? The cutoff initial level basically happens to be, some of them might keep at a 80 percentile, some of them might keep at a 75 percentile, some might keep at a 85 percentile. So yes, if you are able to breathe that particular number by doing extremely well in the other two section, definitely you can achieve the course. Huh? Don't worry about this. The
On the
response
usual
sheet bobblehead
response sheet is, yeah.
is released roughly. I have seen last year, I think after 4 or 5 days. Previous to that, maybe around close to 10 days. So anything I would say within a week, you can expect the response sheet to be out. And everyone should upload their response sheet to get the scores, which is going to be a very good indicator, as I told earlier. Any further questions? Dilip, I think already we have talked about the initial estimate of the cutoff. This is what the slide is, and this is the most interesting slide people want to look at. If someone goes for a century, they are going to get 19.9 percentile. Yes, Vansh. Yes, you are right. I can't say the answer, but yes. As I told, response sheet normally is out within a week. So within, I would say, any third day, fourth day, fifth day, you can expect the response sheet can be out anytime within a week, I would say.
So adding 17 with 75, 80% accuracy is pretty great, to be honest, in geography. So if you look at 70 and let's say 80%, that work out is somewhere around
Yes,
12,
HK
at least
2.0 you are also
12,
right.
13. Yeah. So that look on track for what we've been expecting for at least a 95 plus over. And I'm saying at least.
Vansh, it was, you are right. Yes, Vansh. Okay. Any further questions which you want to address? Let's not talk about the individual question, people. That answers will be given by us. Within a week, we will try to launch the solutions as well on the YouTube video.
Yes, guys, don't bait us into answering the questions we're not allowed to do that. Well, I appreciate your attempts, but we're not allowed to do that.
Yes, Dilip. Any further questions? Please don't ask specific question to us. Once the response sheet will be out, we will be happy to help you with the video solution. So now we are going to launch some of the sessions for decision making for that. You can also refer the cat writer blog where you can see how to do well in DM. Fact, again, I'm saying the quant cutoff clear nahi hua to IIM call aayega ke nahi. Again, I'm saying it has to be at least a 75 percentile depending on the college. Ronak Beria, I already have answered the question that the response sheet is normally out within a week. So within the next 3 days, 4 days, 7 days, 8 days, you can expect the response sheet to be out. Yes, once I did. So right now, all of you have put your best possible effort. Right now, don't worry about this. You have done your bit. It's now time to relax. You give yourself, let's say, some time, relax, chillax, and then maybe you can move on to the upcoming exams post the CAT. That is one of them. My CAT will be happening next week or so. So please try to focus on the upcoming exams. And for each exam, you need to have a different strategy. And that is going to be very, very crucial. Fine, so we are signing off now. And we will meet again at 10:30, right? 10:30 p.m. You can ask about slot 1 people, slot 2 people, slot 3 people. All of them are going to come up and they're going to talk about my slot was the toughest. Slot number 2 people have got advantage. They know the pattern. They know the questions. But those things are going to be discussed in the overall analysis. Fine, people. Signing off now.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
All the best.
Next